Hello, good evening, and welcome to a Twala leadership conversation yet again. And it's such a great honor, getting into your space again at this time. And we really want to appreciate all our associates, all our partners, our network, and as many people who are going to join who are still, watch this broadcast even at a later time. We really want to appreciate your support. And all those who have been invited either for the first time as well, we want to really welcome you and also encourage you to subscribe to the channel as well as click on the notification bell as well in order for you to get alerts and things like that, anytime we come online like this as well. So it's such a great honor to be back here to serve you like this as well. We've been on this thing, the next generation. And I did say, and we've shared with quite a number of people, that we need to be intentional, especially from a leadership perspective, to build the next generation so that we don't have a void of leadership. Our world depends on leadership. Leadership determines everything. We did a whole month on leadership determining everything, determines the state of our lives personally, determines the state of our communities, our families, determines the state of our organization, our institutions. Well, leadership literally determines everything. So leadership is what everybody should be involved in. Leadership is all we do. It's part of our life. However, we have a totally different mindset, wrong mindset, that leadership is just for a select few. And that is one of the reasons why we have this particular program, that let's have a conversation, because you are part of the conversation. No one should lock you out of this conversation. It's so essential that we all connect to this conversation. And that's why today I'm so glad to welcome as many people that will be joining us from all different parts of the world. The people will be joining us from Africa, from Europe, and from the Americas, as many people who are going to be on board tonight. So I want to welcome you. Welcome again. And tonight again, my. Last week I had, and I think it's not just me, because the amount of comments we got from last week's broadcast was just so phenomenal. I had two fantastic guests, and I did make you. I make sure that they will come back and finish what they started. And if they don't finish it today, then we're going to drag them back, because we're going to draw out of this world. To young, vibrant, leaders in the leadership space, in development space, in the training space, and consulting. And passionate, especially about young people as well. And sometimes we're thinking, who are the young people? Look, anyone that has a passion, I consider you a young person, and you don't want it to die, and you're ready to transfer that to the next generation. So welcome with me again. Tonight, I have with us again, Patrice Bailey. My girl, Patrice, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. And it's so nice to have you back. Patrice. As you know, I said last week, she has a long profile. You got to go to Patrice Bailey International. Is that right? Patrice Bailey International. You got to Google it and find out all the stuff that she's doing. Fantastic stuff. We're going to hear some fantastic things from her today. And please take note, especially if you have a young female, if you're a female young lady, a female gender that is trying to do something. I don't know what it told you. I don't know what lie, society told you. But tonight you're going to get some liberating truth from her as well. So Patrice, please welcome again to Leadership Conversations by Twala Europe. Good evening.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for accepting. And I have back again is Pastor Kunle Banwo, my God, Ambassador Kunle Banwo, who is actually part of Twala as well. He is a fellow brother. I've worked with him a whole lot, over the years, especially with our founding fathers, starting with Dr. Miles Monroe. I think we first met in the Bahamas, then, and every other thing just began to connect. And we even found out we had a family connection as well, just out of this, coming, we met out there in the field. They now found our roots to be actually connected somewhere, and that was just so fantastic. Ambassador Kunle is also a trainer. He is an IT guru, by the way, he's in that space, delivering, digital programs, but also passionate about the younger generation as well, and helping businesses and our communities, especially based on his on his what do you call it now? He is a representative of the kingdom of God, and you got to understand, whatever is above is above is above. So if you bring that concept into whatever you do, then it's just going to be fantastic. It's going to be out of this world. Please welcome with me, Ambassador Kunle Banwo. Please say something to the people.
Thank you very much, sir. And Pastor Jide, it's a pleasure to be here again. And welcome to my dear sister, Pastor Jide.
Wow. So nice to have you guys back. And I think last week you were dropping bombshells, all over the place. I think we started by saying, we started sharing practical ways of, that you prescribe to us in developing our younger generation for leadership. And I think one thing I know that we all agreed on, passionately is about the mindset. Somebody talked about education. Purposeful education is very, very vital. And the kind of education that we're getting right now our education needs a total overhaul, and in any space that we can find ourselves to influence that gap, we've got to be doing that. Patrice also works in that space as well, going to school pay assembly. School assembly, by the way, let's come to that. School assembly. And this was in my brain. This just dumped right now in my spirit. I remember when we were growing up, school assembly was a very, very powerful place because whatever information they give you there sank in. It was a place that you have to be there. And I think some of that disappeared right now in some of our schools. School assemblies where they announced you if you were doing very well and things like that, and they brought you to that place to give an accolade. The whole school knew about you. School assembly, they passed certain information about the school and about all the whole day was going to run, and that stuck with you. So going to such a place is very, very, I think it's a very, very powerful tool. I think we should be deploying some leadership tips just at the school assembly before students start their day off. What do you think? I'm going to give you both 60 seconds to say something on that. Patrick, say something. What do you do? Tell me, what do you do? What do you do in that school assembly? Just say, just brief. Just give me something.
Well, for me personally, it's about empowerment. It's about encouraging them. It's about unlocking and unleashing. And I just drop some things into them. And what you said, my daughter's school, my son's school, their school assemblies are still like that. They look forward to their school assembly because they get head teachers award, so everybody knows. So for me, a school assembly is the beginning of training leadership. It really is in place to train up.
School assembly is the beginning of training.
Yes, it's the beginning. I know my 60 seconds is up, but I just dropped that one.
No, that's it. That was exactly what you were supposed to drop. We got to write that in a proposal to schools or to the Ministry of Education. And say, look, school assembly is that place that we got to drop these tips that empower the students, and they got to open it up. They got to open the space up again. Possibly, what do you say?
Well, I agree wholesome. And I mean, without anything to add, the one thing I remember, one of my school assemblies, when I happened to have the best position in essay writing, and my principal asked me to step out in front of the rest of the students.
My God.
And he asked me to walk up and down the stage. Look, that stayed with me. It boosted my confidence. And my mom happened to be a vice principal in the school, and she was smiling quietly. You couldn't tell what that did to me.
You could see the also writing in a tummy there. Wow.
Exactly.
Look, if the school assembly can make you and break you. Sorry, say that again. I think I interrupted you there.
It's a place for developing leaders. And I agree with my sister. 100%.
Fantastic. I believe, but also, what I just remembered as well. The school assembly could make you and break you because that is where they brought you out also if you had messed up. And you will never forget that in your life. In fact, you will have a reason why you don't want to do that kind of mess again because you're going to bring it up before. That was a place they also disciplined people as well. Those were tough discipline. They're going to discipline publicly. And I think that sends a message to others as well. Today, we don't see leaders, accountable to whatever they've done. We don't see, we don't hold people accountable for whatever they've done. And nobody sees that. So everybody just does anything, Now, I'm going to jump on what you said, Patrice. And you said, that's empowerment. Now, let's go to this empowerment thing. I'm being, just swamped under a whole lot of concepts of what is empowerment? How do you empower people? You know, parents want to empower their children. Organizations want to empower the staff. You know, we want to empower the next generation. What does it mean to empower? How do you empower? Can you give us, you know, step by step, or things that you do that empower the next generation? And I know we touched on one thing, but viewers, they're so all over the place, and they want more. They just need more. So please tell us. Stop, Patrice. I'm going to give you the first slot. Then, Ambassador Kule, you also going to write on that. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's talk about this. It's very important.
Okay, yeah, empowerment is really, really important, because empowerment for me is making somebody stronger and more confident, just like the school assembly, just like Pastor Kule, when he was put in front of everybody, it gave him that confidence. And that's what you do with people. You give them that confidence to be able to make decisions about their life. You give them that confidence to be able to have the skills, to be able to give them hope, to give them a future, to give them the things that they need to be able to succeed in life. For me, that's empowerment. And that's why youth empowerment is so important. Female empowerment is so important, because especially for minority groups, for people from developing countries, we need to give them we need to empower them, which is give them the confidence to help them to feel stronger and be able to cope with life, to be able to cope with what is gonna come out, to be able to cope with making decisions in business or making decisions in your career. And that is really what's missing in life. And I hear you, Pastor Jide, about these older leaders. They haven't empowered. And for me, this is one thing I want to say before I pass the baton on, is that we have to empower the leaders of today to be able to equip the leaders of tomorrow. That really is the key. That's the gap right now, because the older ones, to be fair, I don't want their mindset. I don't want their ideals. I don't want it, to be honest. I want a fresh new mindset. I want to pull out the innovations and the inventions that are in the leaders of today. So for me, it's about raising up leaders of today to be able to equip the leaders of tomorrow. So it's bridging that gap for me. So I just wanted to quickly drop that in there before.
Okay. That means definitely it looks like there's some unlearning to be done here, in order to empower the next generation. There needs to be unlearning from some of those things that those old people have shown us that is not particularly right. Okay, now, Ambassador Clay, you got to jump on this as well and tell us, how do we do this? Yeah, it's so key. We need to empower, and we need to know how we're going to do this. Parents wants to do it. Schools wants to do it. Society wants to do it. So you guys got to break this thing down for us today. I'm not going to let you go anywhere until you finish. Okay? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And for me, it comes down to simple things.
Okay.
And I'll put it this way: take genuine interest in the next generation.
Absolutely.
How do you go from one generation to another? Well, one of those key is taking genuine interest. And I can use my example. Pastor Jide, the reason why I'm here is because you, as an older leader, you've taken interest in me.
I'm an older leader. Man, I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
I'm sorry. I hope I'm not throwing age. I'm not being an ageist there, but I'll tell you one quick story.
Okay, go on. Stories are good.
Face to face for the first time. It was in Bahamas. I was standing in the lobby just in one corner, and he looked around and said, "Oh, are you waiting to see me?" He said, "Come forward, come forward." And I went to see him, and he spoke to me as if I've always known him all my life. Then he did something. He put his hand right in my forehead and said, "We're going to work on your mind. We're going to work on your mind." I felt like a father was talking to his son. Let me tell you, it's 1,000 messages couldn't give me what I got there. And it so happened that most of the people that have made a difference in my life have been older people who just took interest in me. From being a teenager, who have said to me one time, I used to tell one of my older people, I said, I'm feeling bored. He said, the reason why you feel bored is because you have no purpose for your life.
My God, that's a powerful statement. Yeah.
And I started to read books. Some of them would give me books. Some of them would just take me on a walk, and they would just ask me questions. They would share Bible studies with me. That made all the difference. So I would propose to everyone listening, take
Take
interest
genuine
in
interest.
the growth of a young person.
Let me pause you there because Patrice wants to add something to that. But I'm going to pick up on something there. You know, sometimes when we say these things, people don't seem to, believe us sometimes how we met Dr. Miles, how we walked with him, and things like that. You see, what you said just right now, it's happened to thousands of people, and you just summarized it in that one statement. Take genuine interest. That was one key thing that Dr. Miles did with anyone. It doesn't matter what your age is, who you are, it will take, and it will give his attention like he's known you forever. It would just, look, I know a lot of leaders in that space. They look at you, they don't know you, they've not met you, they will walk past you. You'll be like a speck in their eyes. They just walk past. They've got too much protocols protecting them. They can't even see you or find you. And I think those kind of things de-empower or disempower or literally puts back the next generation that we don't know that actually we're doing a whole lot of harm to them by all those things that we put around us in the name of whatever. I don't know what it is called. I don't really understand it. We don't see people as a blessing, as an opportunity to serve, and so Dr. Miles will take that interest. It's so amazing how he does it to everyone that he meets. And if you don't meet him, he will meet you. And if you reach out to him, he's going to just stretch his hands back. That is empowerment for me. That is really empowerment. Come and talk to me.
If you're that kind of leader, you breed the same kind of leaders around you.
Thank you very much. Wow. Oh my God, this is good. Patrice, right on that, please, Patrice.
No, I absolutely agree, and that actually empowers my statement about equipping the leaders of today, so the people like you that have been under Miles Monroe to now take that genuine interest to empower the leaders of tomorrow. It's so important. Anybody that's listening to this, to for us to really speak into you and say, rise up now, rise up and become the leaders that the next generation need, because they need the courage, they need the hope, they need exactly what Miles Monroe gave to you, that interest. They need the nurturing to be able to feel the confidence, to be able to feel that they can now step into a new dimension and a new level and take over. But if we don't have this middle leadership level, which is the people like me, for the young women and the young girls to see somebody like me around the place, to see the young men to see you, and for you to actually stop and to take time to actually speak into them, nurture them. That's where the problem is. If we're so focused on us, if we're so focused on us getting to our destination, but we forget about the next generation that's coming up.
One thing I'm going to add to that. Now, when we started on a mentorship program with Dr. Miles, one thing he did for us, and I keep on doing to my mentees now, and people are just take interest in generally. He gave us a document, and that document, my God, that was the first time I had to really document my life. It was you now trying to document what's your vision, what's your purpose, what are those goals that you set, So I took the document, and it was one of those documents that you take and now reach out to us and say, okay, by the way, the document I gave to you, I need you to return it to me filled out. Oh my God. Now sitting down now you have a whole lot of things in your head and you think you know it. Writing it down is a totally different, ballgame. Now, trying to document all the questions that were there, which goals are you going to set? Health goals, financial goals, relationship goals. My God, there were loads of them. But actually getting to write it down one by one changed my life. Now, he made you do that every 6 months. And I'm thinking, why do you have to? Now, it didn't even tell us if he was going to read it or not. He just said, you got to submit this again. I need this in 6. Well, I only just submitted. And I now understood why, because it made you refine those things continually. It made you actually check, am I really this? Is this really working for me? And it made you to be able to measure your life based on those things and see if your life has direction or meaning and things like that. And Till today, do you know I'm still doing that? I do that for myself. Every year, I'm going to sit down with that and I'm thinking, am I on track? So a lot of times people come up with ideas to me and I say, that's good, but it's not in my purpose. And it's good for people that are going to do it, and it's going to have its own impact, but totally out of my space, and I celebrate you for it as well. Because sometimes you allow everything and anyone into your life, and you're trying to do everything and anything, and you end up doing nothing, and because there's no focus, you've not streamlined your life to exactly what it is that you're supposed to be doing as well. And these are the things that you guys are saying, making someone, stronger and confident. A lot of our young people, they don't have the confidence until you put someone right on the driving seat. If you talk to them about driving, they watch it on the YouTube, they watch it online, how to drive. That will never give them the confidence until they sit on that driving seat and you now tell them, now, step on the pedal. That's when they get this confidence, because I see confidence there. I see taking genuine interest in the next generation. I think that taking interest in what our sons and daughters do, very, very, taking interest in your staff, taking interest in the people around you. Look, Pastor Kunle, tell me something about taking this interest, take it to another level. Look, we go to some religious circles, especially churches, and you have pastors, they're interested in their church, they're interested in preaching to you, but they're not interested in you.
Yeah.
And I've been there a long time, and I can tell you if you're interested in me or not. I can smell it from afar. I've been partners to a whole lot of people that I know they're not interested in me, they're just interested in my partnership fee. I don't know how you guys deal with that now, because I ain't paying no partnership fee to anybody again.
I hand that one right over to you.
I'll just put it this way.
Okay. Let me leave it. Let's leave that out, because I need to go somewhere before we close it. Two things I want to talk on today, and one is our world needs young entrepreneurs. We need a new, fresh generation of entrepreneurs. In the next generation of entrepreneurs. Tell me, Ambassador Kunle, you're in that space as well. Both of you in that space. What do you advise? We do?
Maybe we should define entrepreneurship and business.
Oh, go on then.
I'll keep it very simple. I'm not interested in complicated answers anymore. The simple thing for me is this. How do we define business? I would just say it's serving other God's children and getting rewarded for it. So
say it again. Let everybody hear it.
Business for me is serving other God's children and being rewarded for it, so I can do it again. So don't come asking me for a discount.
Business is service. Whatever you do to serve your world is a business. So definitely we got to be looking for needs there.
Absolutely. So and needs abound. We have needs all around us.
Around us.
Let me put it this way. The list of people who complain is long and exhausted, right? Just take your name off that list.
Wow.
That's my simple advice. Take a name of that list and start asking, what need can I serve? What need can I meet? Period.
Me. Fantastic. Patrice, say something to that as well.
What I would say is, especially in Africa or developing countries, is untapped potential. There are innovations and inventions in the people. It's like a gold mine, a diamond mine, really, in developing countries. And so when the people could shift their mindset, shift their vantage point, shift the way they are looking at things and see themselves as this gold mine that they could tap into, and then see it as I'm serving God's children, like Pastor Kunle said, and I'm going to get rewarded for it. Everything that we need is already there. I just see it as untapped potential. And that's why leadership is so important, to give the direction and the guidance and the empowerment to unlock that untapped potential. Because for me, entrepreneurship is a poverty reduction strategy.
God.
Economic empowerment.
Poverty reduction strategy.
Yeah, it's a poverty reduction strategy. Remember what I said last week. 42% of the global youth, and youth is defined as between 15 and 35, is going to be from Africa. So what are we going to do with them? If we don't start, sorry, go on.
Yeah, go. Please finish.
No, we don't start equipping them and empowering them. And equip means to prepare them for the task ahead. That's what equipping is. Equip them for the task ahead. Empower them. Give them the
tools required.
Yes,
strategies,
the tools, the skills that they need. And that's why we have to reimagine education. We have to give them a different form of education that is going to meet the demands of the new age that we're in. Because if we don't, what will happen to the youth? What will happen to the next generation?
Fantastic. I see that there's a craze now in the world, especially in developing worlds, especially in Africa, that there's a migration out of Africa right now of our younger generation into Europe, all around the world. And I feel their pain and the reason why people are doing that. And but on the other side of it as well, part of it is because these people are not being empowered. That's also, they are not aware of quite a number of things. However, in those developing world, that's where the biggest and the greatest needs are.
Yes.
And that is one of the places whereby your entrepreneurial spirit can really develop. You've got to find a need that you're skilled for and find your passion within it. If you can find it, I'm telling you, because there's some people in that space, I'm telling you, if you see their passion. Right now, I am not really an advocate for that. Really, I'm an advocate for people. Look, let's go back into that space because there's so much need. And just like Ambassador Kunle said, if you can serve that need or a need, you get rewarded. And the more you serve, the more you get rewarded. People want reward without service this day. And I think it's a very, very, very important thing. But also, Patrice, I'm going to bring you to a space that I know is you. Though at times running, I'm going to have to steal some extra time tonight. People will watch this also later. Now, there's one untapped. You said this, untapped. And I know there's an untapped area, which is women in leadership. And I know it's one space that you're passionate about. Tell me, I need young girls that are going to be CEOs. They're going to find their passion. They're going to be a voice. Look, I found the statistics during COVID. And after COVID, this just came out in some of the conversation. And it was discovered, this was in the stats, that all the countries being led by women, there were women prime ministers, head of state and things like that, they had the less tragedies.
Yeah.
And I went checking, and it was true. So tell me, what is this thing that women need to tap into? They need to tap into this. I got daughters, man.
I got daughters as well, and that's why.
Yeah. So all of us. Okay, come on, talk to us. We need to empower these young ladies, man. Come on.
Yes, we have to empower them. One thing I say is, if they can see it, they can be it. And so it's incumbent upon everybody. This is a everybody issue to empower women into leadership roles, because again, women are untapped potential. And the reason why there is so much success in these countries is because most women are concerned about community. If you can get a woman into leadership, she is going to be about community. She's going to be about making a difference. It's going to be less self-interest and more community.
So you're telling me women have more of a communal spirit?
A communal spirit, more about, and yes, because if you look at
that's a revelation,
women's groups and things like that, it's about coming together. The reason why women's groups are so successful, because it's about coming together. And when that spirit is out there in a leadership, there is a different dynamic in a workplace. They say tech companies, when they're led by a woman, they're more successful. Go, and so even for women right now, the top 3 industries is tech, energy. I can't remember the third one. Those
tech, energy,
that are male dominated. That's the place that women really need to find their feet and get into as well. And
so how can we inspire these women, these young girls?
Yeah,
These young girls that gonna be on the road. I need youngest 21-year-old, 25, 30-year-old, and we have them all over sometimes. I don't know if it's
They
a
have
fair
to see
factor.
us.
Yes.
They have to see us. They have to
Okay.
see us, because if they don't see us, they don't know what's possible. And so,
but we have so much programs for women all over the place. Women this, women that. Well, I'm not sure they have leadership programs for women. They have all the other stuff for women.
exactly.
So-
Women, put them in a nice box, get them flower decorating, cake decorating. No, we need to come out of that. The pretty little, keep her, the first lady, keep her, the women's ministry, head of the women's ministry, just keep her there. No, we need leadership roles. So with the men, this is why I call upon the men that are in those leadership roles. Empower the women that you see that have the capacity to be leaders. Train them up, get them around other female leaders, so they can see us. So the young girls can see us in a different light. My children's school, the head teacher is a Black woman from the Caribbean. So the girls are seeing a female leader, a female head teacher. So we have to be in the roles. And the thing is, but we need the men to help us to get into the roles. It's a partnership, it's a collaboration to help us. 92% of Fortune 500 companies are still run by males. So
that's true.
2023.
Role models for women, role models. So some of the men role model, they need to not just be a role model to men, but role model to both genders. Because sometimes when we begin to talk about leadership, it's like women doesn't even come into the equation. They just when you see people talk about leadership, most of the time they're actually talking to the male gender.
Absolutely.
And I think there should be that inclusion because I've seen women do some fantastic things, and this is one of the places whereby you got to understand that women are emotional engine, and if you're able to actually know how to really work that emotion, that engine of the emotion towards a very positive end, it produces, results. It's like, do you know how you appeal to a woman's emotion and decide to leave his her father's house and follow you to nowhere sometimes, and they follow a whole lot of men to nowhere, and for all the nice guys out there who've taken them on a journey to destiny,
to somewhere.
Praise God for you, to somewhere. Okay, we thank you for that. But it's God, please.
My appeal to anyone who is scared or afraid of failing is to just rethink that, because I think failure is overrated. Okay, what's the worst that could happen? You're embarrassed. Maybe you lose some money and all that, but that's part of the journey. I would just say, quit being afraid. Look, fail. In fact, maybe I like the way John Maxwell put it. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. So meaning it's not like you fail, it's a learning process. Absolutely. And I'll probably say to a woman, if anyone at all, male or female, if you're feeling scared, you're afraid to step out in your gift or in that idea in your mind, well, dare that failure, forget about it. Just do it anyway. Do it afraid.
Fantastic. I think that I'll take us as a closing word from you. Patrice, a closing word from you as well.
Step out.
Oh my God.
You have seeds of greatness within you, and we need what you carry. We just need what you carry. You have so much, and I want you to step out. Do not be afraid. We just need you. We need what you carry. That you were born with seeds of greatness. And
I'm going to tell all my daughters they step out. Whatever that means, you just got to step out. Stop, hiding. Step out, because there's so much that is in you that's got to come out. Empowerment is such a big word for us. We need to, empower our younger generation, the next generation, to be confident. We need to take genuine interest. You said genuine interest in people generally. When you take genuine interest in people, I'm telling you, it takes them out of their shell. It gives them that confidence. It empowers. Taking interest. I think that's a big one. If only we have a whole lot of people taking interest in the next generation, we're going to do a lot of things, giving them the tools required. Sometimes people say, it's just because I don't have these tools. Help out with a tool, a support. Information is a tool. Resources are tools. Your network is a tool. Your relationships that you have. A book, is a tool. Giving out tools empowers the next generation. Do you know that some schools back in some of our, they don't have textbooks, and we throw away textbooks here, you know, just supplying textbooks, things that will empower them to be able to emerge, you know, and these are things I think we're going to take away from this broadcast today. I want to say a big thank you to you guys. You know, it's been such a journey from last week to today, and I think this is going to resound. A lot of people are going to be on my case this week. I know they're going to go work this and now say, wow, I worked this and this is what happened, da, 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 da. And I'm just going to refer them to you, and they should go Google you guys that you're the one that said it. I was really a supporting voice to that as well. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And we're looking forward to bringing you back again at some, you know, very, very soon again. But please stick with us on this leadership conversation as well. And most especially, you know, Etoila is a place whereby, you know, we want to train the trainers. Quite a number of people are now seeking to be part of Etoila, and they want to know what Etoila is all about. Please listen to this text. So just before then, I invite you to join us again next week, same time, 9 p.m. UK time, same station, same broadcast. You know, I'm going to be your host as well, JD Modede. I'm the ambassador, regional ambassador for Etoila Europe as well. And what we talk about here is leadership. This is just a place where we whet your appetite, but there are deeper things that we do across board from nation to nation and institutions within religious organization as well. But please listen to this clip as well, just to get